which is the prerequisite to learn cloud, AWS or Azure, to learn DevOps, to learn DBA, any administration courses, Linux administration, Linux fundamentals are the prerequisite. Now, here I'm going to cover RHCE. RHCE stands Red Hat Certified Engineer, and also RHCSA stands Red Hat Certified System Administrator, System Admin. Both papers will be covered. In RHCE or RHCA, there are three papers. One we call SA1. SA1 stands System Administration Paper 1. SA2 stands System Administration Paper 2. NEA stands Network Administration. All the three papers will be covered. In SA1, System Administration Paper 1, we are going to cover Linux fundamentals, Linux basics. Linux fundamentals are basics, which is 10 days duration. What the topics will be covered in SA2? Installation. How to install the operating system. There are so many types of installations we have. Installation of Linux with GUI mode, graphical user interface. GUI stands graphical user interface. Installation of Linux with CLI. CLI stands command line interface. Installation of Linux with auto layout. Installation of Linux with custom layout. Installation of Linux with standard partition. Code duration 40 days. Standard partitions. Installation of Linux with custom partitions or LVM partitions. All the types of installations we're going to cover, and later we're going to start disk management. What is this disk management? When you install any Microsoft family in a laptop or desktop, what drives by default create in a laptop? When you install any Microsoft family, what is the drive that create automatically? Who can take this course? Who is taking the class? Myself. What drives by default create? C drive. At the time of installation, any Microsoft family, it is going to create a C drive. For example, I have hard disk 0. What is disk 0 stands? First disk. Disk 0 stands first disk. Disk 1 stands second disk. Disk 2 stands third disk. For example, my disk 0 is 500 GB. My hard disk size is 500 GB. What could be the C drive size? What is the maximum drive size C drive? If my hard disk 0 500 GB, what could be the C drive size? Huh? The whole disk C drive, I can get a C drive with 500 GB. I can get a C drive with 500 GB. You have 1 TB hard disk, get a C drive with 1 TB. Is it advantage or disadvantage?
We can do
entire disk single drive. Creating entire disk single drive, is it advantage or disadvantage? Disadvantage, right? If you keep everything on the C drive, tomorrow the hard disk crash. Whatever data under C drive, all the data will be lost. Another disadvantage that decrease my system booting performance. it will take more time to load the open system. That's why in Microsoft, as a Windows administrator, you have to create a separate drive, C drive, D drive, E drive, and so on. Similarly, in Linux also we're going to discuss about disk management. In disk management, we are going to discuss how to create the partitions. Windows we call as a drive. Windows we call as a drive. Whereas Unix we call as a file system. Windows we call as a drive, Unix we call as a file system. How to create this file system, how to format the file system, what are the problems we'll encounter in the file system in the real time. All this troubleshooting part we discuss in the risk management. Then user administration. User administration. In user administration, we are going to discuss about how to create the groups, creating the groups, creating the users, monitoring the users, creating disk quotas. All this stuff we'll discuss in the user administration. For example, Windows, what are the types of users in Microsoft? What are the types of users in Windows? Administrator, Windows we call administrator and normal user. There are two types of accounts, administrator and normal user. What is different between administrator and normal user? Administrator means who can control the server, who can control entire server. For example, log in as ATM user with ATM card. Are you administrator normal user? Log in as ATM user with ATM card. Are you administrator normal user? Normal user. Your job is only check the balance amount, draw the amount. Other than that, you can't do anything. Log into the gmail.com, yahoo.com. Are you administrator normal user? Normal user. We can only check the mails, send the mails. Other than that, we can't do anything. So one server will have only one administrator. One company, how many CEOs? Only one CEO. Like one server will have only one administrator. Users can be any number. Normal user can be any number. Similarly, in Unix, we have a root user. Root is the administrator login name. Unix root is the administrator login name. One server will have only one root user. Normal user can be any number, no limit. All this stuff we'll discuss in the user administration. Then we'll talk about run levels. What is this run levels in Microsoft? In Microsoft, we call types of modes. Microsoft, we have types of modes. What are the types of modes in Windows? Types of modes in Windows, command mode, normal mode, safe mode, networking mode. Similarly, here we call it as a run levels. What is single user mode? What is multi-user mode? What is the meaning of single user, multi-user? What is single user? Only one user can log in at a time. Single user means what? Only one user can log in at a time. Multi-user means what? More than one user can log in. The laptop desktops are single user, multi-user. Multi-user. Can you log in more than one user laptop? Single user. Example for multi-user. ATM. ATM is multi-user. Can you insert two things, ATM cards at a time? That means ATM single user. The one example for multi-user? Gmail.com, yahoo.com, Facebook, all these are multi-user. Okay. Then booting process. Booting process is very important in Linux. Booting process very important in Linux. What is booting process? Whenever the system is booted, initially BIOS will be loaded. BIOS loads MBR, master boot record. MBR loads PT, partition table. Partition table loads bootloader. Bootloader loads kernel. Kernel loads Microsoft C drive. Kernel loads Unix root partition. Booting process is very, very important in Linux. If you go for interview on Linux, definitely there's one question on booting process. Why why we should understand the booting process? Sometimes system is not booting. Our server system is automatically rebooting. Then what's the problem? If you understand the booting process, we can understand where the problem is. If you understand where the problem, we can troubleshoot the problem. After booting process, we'll talk about LVM. LVM stands Logical Volume Manager. Logical Volume Manager. Before LVM, in Windows, I have a notepad or wordpad file. If I save the file, is it permanent saving, temporary saving? Windows, if you save the file, is it permanent saving, temporary saving? There are two types of storages. One is temporary storage, the other one is permanent storage. Which is temporary storage? RAM is a temporary storage. What is permanent storage? Huh? Permanent storage leader. Hard disk. Hard disk is the permanent storage. RAM is temporary storage, hard disk is the permanent storage, right? Hard disk is the permanent storage. What do you mean by gracefully shut down? What do you mean by gracefully shut down? Write the data from RAM to hard disk. Commit the changes from RAM to hard disk. Commit all the changes from RAM to hard disk, then shut down the server. That is called gracefully shut down. Writing the data from RAM to hard disk, shut down the server called gracefully shut down. If you save the file, where the file going to save, in the RAM or in the hard disk? Hard disk. What is meaning of gracefully shut down? Whatever data in the RAM, the data should be committed to the hard disk. Then shut down it. When you save the file, where the file going to save, RAM or hard disk? In hard disk. Okay. We'll see that later. So we can't write, we can't save anything directly in the hard disk. Whatever you write, whatever you save, everything will be saved only in the RAM, not in the hard disk. This data will be committed to the hard disk only in case of gracefully shut down. All this stuff theoretically, practically we'll discuss in run levels. Okay. LVM stands Logical Volume Manager. What is LVM? Logical Volume Manager. For example, you have more than one hard disk. I told you in Microsoft, what is disk 0 stands first disk. Disk 1 stands second disk. Disk 2 stands third disk. You have disk 0, disk 1, disk 2. When you purchase laptop, how many hard disks by default in a laptop? 3 or 4? You have laptop, right? How many hard disks on laptop? 3 or 4? 3 hard disks. Only one. Only one. How do you know that? 2 hard disks. In a laptop, 2 hard disks. Only one. How to know that? Go to this PC. Go to this PC. Manage. Assume that I have three hard disks. Those are disk 0, disk 1, disk 2. My disk 0 size is 100 gig, 100 GB. Disk 2, I have a size of 200 GB. Disk 3, I have a free space of 300 GB. Assume that these are the free spaces in three different hard disks. In the first disk, free space of 100 GB, second disk, free space of 200 GB, third disk, free space of 300 GB. But my requirement is I need a single drive, single disk or single drive with 500 GB. I want to install the database. The database requires 500 GB. I don't have any hard disk with 500 GB free space. I don't have any hard disk 500 GB free space. I have free space of 100 GB in the first disk, 200 gig in the second disk, 300 gig in the third disk. No hard disk with 500 GB. In that case, what do you have to do? I don't have any hard disk with 500 GB free space. Then what do you do? It's very simple. Go to market, purchase new hard disk. 1 TB hard disk. The problem is resolved. But if you purchase new hard disk, wastage of storage, wastage of disk space, then with the help of this volume manager, we can group all these physical disks. If you group all these physical disks, 100 plus 200, 300, how much size you got? 600 GB. This is called volume manager. What is volume manager? Grouping of physical disks. There is no application server, no database server, no production servers in the real time without volume manager. Assume that a D drive, in Microsoft we have a D drive, the D drive is 100% full. The D drive is 100% full, no free space. The drive is full. Is it possible to increase the drive size without loss of data? Can we increase the drive size without loss of data? Yes, sir. No, right? We can't. But we can increase. How? Take the drive backup. Take the drive backup, data backup. Increase the drive size, format it, then restore from the backup. Is it offline or online? Taking the drive backup, increase the drive size, format it, then restore from the backup. Is it online or offline? Taking the drive backup, increase the drive, that is online or offline? Offline. Offline means shut down the server, take the backup. That is called offline. Offline means what? My drive should not be active. My drive should not be active. What is the meaning of active? If somebody acts in the drive, or any applications are running on the drive, then we call that the drive is active. You cannot take the backup when the drive is active. No one should log into my server. So there is in Microsoft we have a concept called safe mode. What is safe mode? Safe mode is the maintenance mode. Bring the server to the safe mode called maintenance mode. In safe mode, no one can log into your server. No user can log into your server. We can take the complete drive backup. We can increase the drive size. That is called as a offline. What's the problem with the offline? When the drive is terabyte more than terabyte size, when the drive is terabyte more than terabyte size, it will take 5 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours to take the backup. What's the problem here? No one can access WhatsApp for 8 hours. WhatsApp is down for 3 hours. Facebook is down for 8 hours. That is called as a downtime. That's why in the real time, we never increase the drive offline. Always increase the drive online. That is possible with volume manager. With the help of this volume manager, we can increase the drive size dynamically online. The meaning of dynamically when logins are active. You see Facebook never down. Your Google Pay, Phone Pay, never down. That is called online. That is possible only with volume manager. It is very, very important topic, LVM in Linux. Then we talk about RPM. RPM stands Red Hat package, Red Hat Package Manager. RPM stands Red Hat Package Manager. What is this RPM concept? Tomorrow somebody asks you to install the Java software. You want to configure application server. You want to configure application server. Which is application server? Tomcat is application server. For Tomcat application server, I need to install the Java software. So somebody asks you to install Java software. The Java software comes with RPM format. You need to understand how to install this RPM packages after installation of operating system. How to install the package, how to verify the package, how to query the package, how to update the package, how to query the package file, all this stuff we'll discuss in RPM. Then we talk about backup and restore. Backup and restore. Have you seen the files in online like .zip files? Have you seen .zip files? If you download some software from internet, this files comes with .zip format. Some files comes with .zip format. Some files comes with .rpm format. These are called backup files. How to create these backup files, how to restore these backup files, all this stuff we discuss in backup and restore. What is different between Windows and Linux? Both are operating system. What is the difference? Huh? Huh? Client based. Windows everything is graphical, Unix everything is command line. If you work with Microsoft, what hardware component required, without that we can't able to work on Windows. I need a mouse. Without mouse, I can't able to work. You want to work on any Unix family, I need a keyboard. Without keyboard, I can't able to work. So Windows everything is graphical, Unix everything is command line.
Sir, are you going to give us these virtual machines that we can practice?
Yeah, could you repeat again? I didn't get you.
I said that this virtual desktop that you are accessing now, will you be kind enough to share with us those machines so we can practice along with you while you are teaching?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Okay.
So basically, it is a Unix, or we can say Linux. What is IP address? One 92, 168, 202, 160. Now, this is Linux server. What I tell you, Linux everything is command line, CLI. This is called command line interface. So what type of file these are? JDK stands Java Development Kit. What type of format these are? RPM format. What type of file these are? zip files. These are all these are backup files. This is the zip format. All these are backup files. We'll see how to download these backup files from internet, how to install it, all this stuff we'll discuss in the RPM. Then we talk about RAID. What is RAID stands? Redundant array of inexpensive disk. Inexpensive disk. In the real time, if you see the servers in the real time, as of now, earlier, when I was in Oracle Corporation, I worked on the server. It was HP. Here, How many hard disks here we have? All these are hard disks. 3, 6, 9, 12 hard disks. Why do you need 12 hard disks? One hard disk is enough to install operating system. Why do you need more than one hard disk? That is called as a backup. The backup we call as a redundant inexpensive disk. Have a server, aim that you have a server with one hard disk. You have a server with one hard disk. This is failed. You have a server only one hard disk, that hard disk failed. Whatever data, whatever application running here, the whole application database will be here, will use the database. The application goes down. So what we are going to do is we are going to add more than one hard disk. What is meaning of RAID? Duplication of data. So operating system will be installed both the hard disks. So that even one hard disk fail, the application runs on another disk. That is called as a RAID. RAID is for fault tolerance. In the real time, all the application server, database servers are running on RAID. This is called fault tolerance. All this comes under system administration paper 2. Now coming to the network administration, NA. Here we'll discuss about how to configure network, what is IP addressing, IP address, how to configure networks, what is class A, what is class B, what is class C network, what is subnetting, all the stuff, and what is the logical IP address, how to configure logical IP, how to configure host name, system name, all this stuff we discuss in networking. Then we'll start about FTP, file transfer protocol. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. FTP is a file server to share the files. FTP is a file server to share the files under heterogeneous. What is the meaning of heterogeneous? If you share the files from Windows to Windows, if you share the files from Windows to Windows, that is called homogeneous. Because both are same Microsoft family. Because both are same Microsoft family. If you share the files from Unix to Unix or Linux to Linux, also called homogeneous because of same Unix family. For real time, clients always Windows, servers always Unix. This is called heterogeneous. Example, Google Drive. What is Google Drive? What is Google Drive? Google Drive is nothing but a FTP server where you can upload the files, upload the folders, upload the files to the Google Drive. Like Naukri.com. Naukri, Monster, all the job portals are FTP server where we can upload your resume. All these are FTP server. Even gmail.com, we can upload your files. That is called FTP server. FTP is a file server where we can upload the files and download the files. Then we talk about NFS. NFS stands Network File System. Network File System. The difference between FTP and NFS. FTP is heterogeneous. Client can be Windows, server can be Unix. NFS is homogeneous. Clients and server both should be Unix, cannot be Microsoft. What is the drawback of FTP? Disadvantage, drawback of FTP. Upload the files, download the files, means data duplication. See, whatever files we have in FTP server, once I download it, the same copy in FTP client. If you upload the file from FTP client, same copy in FTP server. Duplication of data, data redundancy. In FTP, we have data consistency, data inconsistency. Data inconsistency means what? I'm downloading some files in my laptop, you are downloading some files to your laptop. All the laptop doesn't have the same data. That is called data inconsistency. In NFS, we have data consistency. Example for NFS, your Book My Show, online reservations. All these are NFS server where data is centralized. DNS. DNS stands domain naming service. DNS stands domain naming service. For example, I want to communicate with you people. What do you require? I want to communicate with you people. What do you require? I want to communicate with you people. What do you require? Huh? I need your mobile number, right? Without mobile number, I can't communicate. So one person want to communicate with other person, we need a mobile number. One system want to communicate with other system, what it need? IP address. IP address for communication. What is gmail.com IP address? 202.141.21.21.4 gmail.com IP address. What is Yahoo IP address? 23.89.34.90. This is the Yahoo IP address. But are you giving IP addresses in the web, in the Google, in the browser? Are you giving IP address of gmail.com, yahoo.com? No. What you are giving? mail.yahoo.com or mail.google.com or www.yahoo.com. That is because of DNS. What is DNS? When I give the host name, this is called host name. It convert into IP address. When I give the host name, convert into IP address. That is because of DNS. There is no IT company without DNS. Because we never give the IP addresses of web servers, mail servers, database servers. We always give the host names. So this conversion, host name to IP address will be done by DNS. There are so many types of DNS servers. The types of DNS servers we have primary DNS, secondary DNS, forwarders DNS, cache DNS, caching DNS, IP-based DNS, name-based DNS, port-based DNS, round-robin DNS, all this stuff we'll discuss in the DNS. Then we'll talk about DHCP, Dynamic Host Control or Configuration Protocol. DHCP stands Dynamic Host Control or Configuration Protocol. Basically, IP addresses are two types. One is static IP, the other one is dynamic IP. What is difference between static and dynamic? Static means permanent, which cannot be changed. It's always permanent. Dynamic means which is not permanent. A mobile number is static and dynamic. Mobile number static and dynamic. Static. It's lifelong. 100 years, 200 years. Mobile number for 100 years, 200 years. Till you renewal. It is static till you renewal. If you do not renewal, the mobile number will go to other person. Mobile number is static and dynamic. Is it prepaid or postpaid? What are you using? Prepaid or postpaid? Huh? You don't know. Prepaid, right? If you do not renew your mobile number after 3 months, it will expire. They will give to other person. That is called static and dynamic. Dynamic. Okay. So like static IP address are two types, static and dynamic. So what is static? What is dynamic? How to configure this DHCP server? In the real time, most of the servers are dynamic IP. We never use static IP address. Only few servers will have a static IP. Remaining all the servers are dynamic IP. Then we talk about Apache. Apache is a web server. Static. There is static at one. Static means which cannot be changed. Dynamic means which can be changed. Apache. What is Apache? It's a web server. Apache is the web server. When you type, go to the browser and type yahoo.com. What you are getting web page. This web page from web server. You type gmail.com. What you are getting web page. This web page from web server. So what Apache web server contains static web pages. What the meaning of static? The content we cannot edit, the content we cannot modify. For example, you type flipkart.com. This page static dynamic static because the content we cannot edit, the content we cannot modify. Only we can view the content. That is called static. We want to hold the static web pages, we need a web server. That is called Apache. And Samba. Samba is a file server like FTP. Samba is a file server to share the files under heterogeneous. So all this comes under network administration. So the course duration is 35 to 40 days. In which 1 week we'll have a Linux fundamentals. That is Linux basics. After completion of Linux basics, we'll start the Linux administration. So tomorrow I'll say demo class. I'll explain you what is Windows, what is Windows, what is Linux, what is the difference between Windows and Linux, where we use Windows, where we use Linux. All this stuff we discuss tomorrow. Okay, guys. Any questions? Tomorrow is the difference between Windows and Linux. Day after tomorrow, the installation part. I'll show you installation day after tomorrow. What software is required, how to install the VMware, how to install Linux. If possible, bring your laptop day after tomorrow. We'll see the installation part. Even for DevOps, AWS required this Linux fundamentals. Initially, we start with the Linux fundamentals. Before that, we'll see the installation part. Yes. Any questions, guys? Krishna, am I clear? Okay. So see you tomorrow, same time. Dandas, Kashif,